I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
It's
Are
my
you
wife.
ready to start this?
That's how we're starting. Hey,
That's
listen.
not how we're starting.
And we jump right into the middle of this one because Christianity has always, been run culturally, right? And each church runs itself a different way, and what they accept is based on the congregation usually, and it's usually passed through time, right? But what you never really see in church is a real talk about sexuality, right? You may hear the negatives of gay and having sex out of wedlock. They talk about that all the time, right? But they don't talk about what it looks like in a marriage, right? They don't talk about what sexuality is between married people. They're almost afraid to talk about it. And I think there was a couple of things. You were telling me something earlier. What were you talking about earlier?
Chandler Moore just got married, and they took a boomerang picture, and the shot was of her, I would say mid-twerk. She was definitely bent over, okay? And he approached the twerk.
Okay, pulled up on it. Pulled up on it.
Real quick, boop.
Pulled up on his wife, you're saying?
Pulled up on his wife.
On his wife, okay.
Okay.
Pay attention.
And one hand is on her derriere.
Okay.
Saying, "Hey, babe, I'm here, I got you."
This is mine.
And the other one was in the air enjoying the twerk.
The rodeo. Something like
exactly that. Okay. Mm-hmm. And in the comments, Christians was going wild.
Gotcha.
How dare you? This is unholy, unchristian-like. You shouldn't be doing this. This is bad. You're now a bad role model.
Wow, really?
You shouldn't be doing these things. And then there were some people in the group that was like, "Hey, they're married now.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely,
relax."
Absolutely. So this is where Christianity fails so many times, where it's just, and lack of a better word, it's so Christian that it's no earthly good. Like, you're going over the top, right? This is not even based off of the word, we'll say. This is based off of your feelings, how your church presented things to you, right? This man is celebrating his wife, not his girlfriend.
Nope.
Not his side joint. His wife.
His wife.
What's the problem?
There shouldn't be a problem.
No. And to me, to model this behavior, like, listen, this is mine. She is his. He is hers. We're sharing each other. This is our love on display.
This is the equivalent of a touchdown right here.
Yeah, listen,
they're supposed to celebrate. How they celebrate should be up to them.
Listen, and you're getting what you want. You're getting this married couple embracing marriage.
That's it.
But they're turning it into a negative. This is what pushes people away from this type of stuff.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's too judgmental. Right? Now, we can judge, but we should judge with a lens that is fair and that makes sense. And if you're going to base it off the Bible, base it off the Bible.
Exactly.
Let's not base it off of us. And that's what I think people did. People jumped and made it about them. Right? There's no reason to hide anything if you're married. If you're a Christian.
Right.
Right? That's when you should promote it. We should be promoting healthy, happy relationships.
And that includes sex. Oh my gosh.
I
know, relax.
You didn't say that. See, this is what I'm talking about. We gotta ban that from the church. She needs exorcism. We will exorcise the sex out of you. But that's real. That's what happens, right? When they start to talk about these things. Again, to me, and from what I know of the Bible, this marriage should be celebrated. A husband and wife should be able to show their love especially on their wedding day in the arena they set up for themselves. Right? So people need to stop just being so over the top with things. And again, we need to stop hiding everything anyway. Everything shouldn't be hidden. There's too many things hidden, and that's why so much negativity comes out of things. So we want to hide things. We don't want to deal with things. But again, look, if you're married and you're doing things, any church should be okay with that. With you guys showing your love to each other.
Pretty much.
So we and that's the problem. The number one problem with the church is that, each church has its own rules, and a lot of things are based off of people and how they feel, and it's just not okay. And it's just turning people away from the church in droves. Right now, people are just being turned off because the judgment is a lot of times more of a personal attack. It's not about the person. It's not about their heart. It's about what people are perceived to be right or wrong. People have these boxes, and if you don't fit in this box, you're wrong. Well, that's a problem, right? That's a problem in itself. I mean, it's probably, every time sex comes up, the church goes in uproar. And it's crazy because being married, it shouldn't be as much of a problem.
It shouldn't, but it is. And that is what Tamela Mann and her husband found out the hard way when they released a album dedicated to sex or love making for Christians. And they have just been, when they came out with this album, they were like, how dare you? Upward, don't buy, cancel these people. And basically they said, the saints need sex too. And they said, no, we're not going to back down. This is for grown people.
Gotcha.
Wives, husbands who are doing what husbands and wives do in the privacy of their home, but promoting good, clean music for them to listen to.
Well, no, I think it's weird because I never thought about that space before. I never thought about a space where Christians don't have love-making music, right? I don't think you want to make love to songs that are specifically talking about Jesus or praying or something like that, right? So I think there would have to be a separate lane for music for that time.
Yes.
Right?
So they dropped an R&B album dedicated to making love, and Christians were in an uproar because they felt as though this is secular, this, that, and the third, and they didn't back down. They basically said, Christians have sex too. They're
Absolutely.
married.
Absolutely.
And there's no, love making music.
See, and this, again, where Christians, if I'm telling you, this is coming from a place of a married man, wanting to make love to his woman that he's married to, or vice versa. I'm telling you that this music is based off of. It stems from a good Christian family that wants to have something to enjoy their sex life too.
Right, and what I thought was even more interesting is they did the album together. So it wasn't like it was just one of them singing all. No, they're doing this together in celebration of them being married and making love.
Gotcha. So again, it's weird. So what is marriage? I need to ask.
If you can't celebrate all of that comes with it.
Absolutely. If this relationship is special and it's a covenant that you have with God, and then you say, you know what, sex is a part of it, a big part of it. I mean, it tells you go forth and procreate, right? He said we need some music to do that with. I think that's in the Bible somewhere. It says have some music. So to have a soundtrack to help procreate, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with it. I don't even see where biblically it could be a problem. Now, people want to put things in boxes again, like I said earlier, and we're talking about, it's, this is not Christian music. Mm-hmm. Well, who are you to determine what Christian music is, right? Because I think it's the intent of the music.
Right.
Right. If I'm telling you, if I'm married and I'm talking about having sex with my wife, I don't see the problem. If it's not promoting, you to be out there in those streets, if it's not promoting you to have multiple women or multiple men, if it's promoting you to have a healthy sexual relationship with your married partner, I don't see a problem with it. And that's the problem for Christians. You can't, just because something doesn't seem right to you, dismiss it. It's so much hidden. People are afraid to be open and honest about things because of what could be said about it, or people talk about you. And these are things that right now we're talking about things that to me are in line with the Bible. Mm-hmm. So you can't even do things that are perceived to be right. So if you're definitely doing something wrong, you definitely can't talk about that or bring it up because you already see how they treated somebody who was doing something right.
Right. If I'm getting on you for having sex outside of marriage, and then once you get into marriage, I'm still on you about it. Well, what difference does it make? Like, you still gonna have something to say.
Mm-hmm. And see, I guess my last point would be, this is why people need to stop making it about them and their own judgment, right? If you're a Christian and you're basing things off of the Bible, which you should be, if you can't you have a scripture to back up what you're saying, or you can't find something in there, then we need to stop assuming or making things to be what we assume them to be, right?
Right.
That to me is kind of it's just weird. You don't want to, again, like I said, you're doing something with your wife. I'm confused at how.
So confused.
You're tripping over that. I'm confused at how you're tripping over that. Christians, we need to stop being so judgmental that we can't see the road. We can't always just feel something's wrong and run with it, right? Mm-hmm. We can't. I would say, I guess, pray on it. I don't know what y'all need to do, but let that man and his wife live. Now, what we could talk about, what was the twerk like? If it was an unseasoned chicken twerk, that's different. Now, we could be uproar about that, like, hey, you shouldn't have twerked. You should have stayed with the two-step or whatever. Cool. But like I said, all jokes aside, they married each other, they loved each other, their love was on display, and they were displaying their love because they were excited, doing things that they do. But again, I think the church should start promoting healthy relationships for married people.
Yeah, we can't pretend like sex doesn't exist.
And guess what? Maybe seeing marriages that are having fun, seeing people that are excited, would make it more appetizing, right?
Absolutely.
So, because marriage, to be honest, what I hear about is dreadful.
But if you're, I'm gonna smooth go past that.
It's a terrible. They're like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do it. Because every time, usually, when people talk about things, they talk about the negative.
Right.
I'm just saying, people don't usually talk about if we saw more of this positive.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so uncomfortable, right? Because you're not used to seeing that. Everything you usually see is crazy, chaotic. But now you see these two people turning up, and they're getting it. And you're like, oh, there's something wrong with that. It feels wrong.
If we're promoting marriage, this should be part of promoting marriage.
Absolutely. Should be on the cover.
That's it.
Get the video, send it out. When you get married.
Do a whole church sermon on that.
When you get married, do your wife like this. The pastor need to bring his wife up there like, look, I love my wife. I love my wife. I love my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it should be celebrated more, talked about it more.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I think that's where churches fail sometimes. Because they also... a lot of times just talk about the negative, don't fornicate, don't do this, don't do this. This is going to send you to hell. But if they show the other side of the coin as well, like your marriage could be a great thing. Here, look at the video. See him twerking on his wife? See them? They're having fun? That could be you. So,
and when you do get married, pick up the Love Making album.
Oh yeah, listen. And I, again, like I said, I never thought about that space. That there is no music to listen to for a Christian, really, to make love to. right? You listen to praise and worship.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's just the mood isn't there.
Hey,
So,
you need something to keep the rhythm. There's timing and rhythm involved.
well, see, the problem is when it gets to the doom 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 doom, doom, it's over. Night's over. You didn't rush me. Now I'm done. Sorry. Every time it comes to I caught the goose. You rushed me. So they had to do something to slow it down. I agree with them. I agree. Because I can't think of any music, any of my Christian music that I could say that would be love making music. So that's a space that is untapped, and they're filling a market that is very much so needed, right? Mm-hmm. So they started again. Christians need to learn to accept it's still Christian. Just because you don't believe it to be so, because it makes you feel weird, I don't feel it to be wrong. So I guess what we're saying is that we believe that sexuality needs to be explored in the church with married couples. We can't keep shunning everything and making everything a negative. It's just making church to be a place where people don't want to go because it's so judgmental. Even things that are right somehow seem wrong. So with that being said, hey, thank you for joining us. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye. Tell my wife this is for her. This is my wife. Christian music. Amen.
I'm leaving that all the way.
Cut that out.
Well, you're definitely not closing out with that.
Not the stuff before that. Yes, like
I need like a bye-bye. We're done.
Bye-bye. We're done.